The Cold War era brought about intense political turmoil and power struggles in many nations, and South Korea was no exception. The Korean peninsula became a battleground for ideological rivalries, leading to a series of coups and political upheavals. This article serves as a documentary-style exploration of South Korea's tumultuous journey through non-stop coups during the Cold War, unraveling the historical context, key events, and the lasting impact on the nation's political landscape. Part 1. The Aftermath of the Korean War. The documentary begins by setting the stage with the aftermath of the Korean War 1950-1953. South Korea, having faced the devastation of war, grappled with the challenge of rebuilding its economy and establishing political stability. The ideological divide between the democratic South and the communist North heightened tensions, contributing to a volatile political climate. Part 2. Syngman Rhee's authoritarian rule. Syngman Rhee, the first president of South Korea, played a central role in the early years of the Cold War. The documentary explores Rhee's authoritarian rule, marked by the suppression of political dissent and the consolidation of power. Rhee's presidency set the stage for a pattern of political instability that would characterize South Korean politics for decades. Part 3. The April Revolution of 1960. In April 1960, a popular uprising known as the April Revolution erupted in South Korea. The documentary unfolds the events that led to mass protests against electoral fraud and corruption under Rhee's regime. The pressure from the public forced Rhee to resign, marking a turning point in South Korea's political landscape. Part 4. Military coups and political turmoil. The 1960s and 1970s witnessed a series of military coups and political instability. The documentary delves into the coups led by General Park Chung-hee in 1961 and 1963, which eventually solidified his grip on power. Park's regime was characterized by economic development, but also marked by political repression, censorship, and the suspension of democratic institutions. Part 5. Park Chung-hee's legacy and the Yushin Constitution. The documentary explores the legacy of Park Chung-hee, who continued to rule South Korea throughout the 1970s. Park's consolidation of power reached a new level with the implementation of the Yushin Constitution in 1972, which extended his presidency indefinitely and further curtailed civil liberties. Part 6. The Assassination of Park Chung-hee. The political turbulence continued in 1979 when Park Chung-hee was assassinated by his own intelligence chief. The documentary examines the power vacuum that followed and the internal struggles within the military to fill the leadership void. Part 7. Democracy Movement and the End of Authoritarian Rule. The documentary depicts the rise of the democracy movement in the 1980s, with mass protests demanding political reform. The June Democratic Uprising in 1987 compelled the government to concede to calls for democratization. The era of military coups and authoritarian rule in South Korea came to an end, paving the way for a new era of political openness. Part 8. Legacy and Contemporary Reflections. The documentary concludes by reflecting on the enduring legacy of non-stop coups during South Korea's Cold War era. The nation's journey from authoritarian rule to democracy shaped its modern political landscape. The documentary invites viewers to contemplate the challenges faced by South Korea and the resilience of its people in the pursuit of political freedom and stability. Conclusion. South Korea's experience with non-stop coups during the Cold War, as documented in this exploration, is a testament to the complex interplay of geopolitical forces, ideological rivalries, and the quest for political stability. The nation's journey from authoritarianism to democracy reflects the resilience of its people in the face of political turbulence. The documentary sheds light on the historical context, key events, and lasting impact of South Korea's tumultuous Cold War era, offering a comprehensive perspective on the nation's political evolution.